Hey y'all, welcome to Intro to Metaphysics. I am your professor, Dr. Kim Chi. I am not feeling the greatest today, so you might feel my energy a little bit low. Today, we are going to talk about the 12 laws of the universe. We'll just kind of go over what they are. And I think I have a feeling about people calling metaphysics not a real science. It bothers me. But I'm going to celebrate what I want to see more of. And I'm going to just introduce where these 12 laws fit into real science as well as in spiritual practices that we are going to continue discussing. All right, let's get started. As always for TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes. Don't forget to grab your notebooks. I may or may not post the notes today. I just don't remember if I completed the notes for this class. All right. So we want to remember that universal laws are things that they happen in the universe, whether we want to believe them or not. They are principles that the universe or the universe as we know it move by. Yeah. Law number 1, the law of divine oneness. This is found obviously in metaphysics, but also in quantum physics. And this basically just means that everything is connected. Energy is everywhere and everything. And one thing affects another. So you may have heard of something called the butterfly effect, which basically means a butterfly can flap its wings in one location and then cause a hurricane in another. One thing always is going to affect another. Indigenous populations really use this a lot and look at the world in cycles because everything affects everything. The plants that you eat nourish your body, and then you nourish the land that grows the plants. So the one affects the two affects the four, so on and so forth. Well, that leads us to law number 2. This is the law of vibration. This is also found in quantum physics and different energy type sciences. And we've already discussed this. All this means is that everything has an energetic frequency or has a frequency. Things that vibrate higher, we equate them to more positive things, and things that vibrate lower, we equate them to more negative things. Example would be music. You can listen to music and feel really good, and you can also listen to music and feel really bad. It's all the vibrational frequency that it operates on. Next is 3. Like attracts like, or the law of attraction. Now, when people think of metaphysics, they normally think of the law of attraction. There's a lot of stuff out there about the law of attraction. There's the book and the documentary called The Secret. And usually Oprah talks about the law of attraction. There's so many different things that you can find about it. Usually when we talk about sort of anything metaphysical, this is the go-to law. And essentially all this means, this is found also in quantum physics and in what we studied for a minute, neuroplasticity and different neurological things. And essentially all this means is that like attracts like. Your thoughts create your reality, and whatever you think about, that's what you're going to attract to you. Think of it like a magnet. For example, if you think about that you're a failure, chances are you're going to fail. If you think that you're a success, chances are that you'll see success. We just had the Grammys the other day or yesterday, and I think her name is Doechii. If you go back and play in 2019, she actually put a lot of these principles in practice. But one of the things she said was that she was just gonna see what comes to her if she puts it all out there, and she ended up 4 years later winning a Grammy. So that which you seek will find you, because like attracts like. Even though people say opposites attract, what you're really attracting is somebody that has your same vibration or your same frequency. You can look at this as birds of a feather flock together, or you find 5 wealthy people, I'll show you the 6th. All these sort of sayings, they're the same, because you you will only be around the people or the energy that you're like. If you don't fit, you won't. If your energy is not on that same frequency, you won't be happy there. So, or you won't stay there, or that energy won't stay around you. They repel each other. Most of the practices after this class, I think we're going to talk about the realms, and then we're going to really get into how to practice some of this stuff. So most of the practices are going to be based off of like attracts like. Number 4, the law of inspired action. This is found in neuroscience and even psychology. And this essentially just means your thoughts plus an inspired action will translate into a desired outcome. But your action must be aligned with your thought. So essentially, you could think about I want to be rich, and the inspired action that you take doesn't have to be something major. It could just be you purchasing a book about finances, or it could be you walking in a neighborhood of what you consider a wealthy neighborhood, or making friends with somebody that you consider wealthy. Like, it doesn't have to cost money all the time, but it's you taking the step in the direction, and that step can be whatever you think it is. The step doesn't have to necessarily be in the right direction. It's the intention that's behind it. So if you're saying, I want to find the love of my life, the step would be to prepare yourself, or to look for your partner, whatever. That's the step. It doesn't necessarily, you might not look for your partner in the right space, but that's the universe's job, is to do the rest. Yours is just to take the inspired action. So the law of inspired action is basically just a thought plus an action together. Just a note right here, we want to take small actions, not overstep or take really big actions, because it just doesn't work faster if you take big steps. It actually, slow and steady really does win the race. And so if you take slow or small micro steps, the universe will take those steps back. Again, I always say this: consistency is one of the keys. So you just have to wake up every day and say, I'm going to take some sort of action or step towards my goal. Again, you don't need to know what that action is. It's the intention of it that matters. 5 is the law of correspondence. This is found in psychology a lot. And it basically means your outer world reflects your inner world. If your house and your car and your closet and everything is a mess, chances are you got some turmoil happening inside. So if you find a lot of conflict in your world outside, you're constantly around people who are fighting, or constantly just have conflict around you, chances are there's some inner conflict that's happening. Or if you're having an inner conflict, chances are you see that manifesting itself in your outside or outward life. Number 6, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. That's a handful or mouthful. This is found again in quantum physics and biology. And essentially what this means is energy is always moving. It's never staying still. Even though it looks like it's solid, it is not solid. Everything is always moving. And you have the power to shift it, either with your physical self or one of the other realms self. And the image that I use is like water. Water can go from solid to liquid to a gas, to a smoke, to something like that. And essentially it's all the same thing. It's just changing shape. So energy is always moving. It's never still. All right, moving on to part 2.